They big. They make food.
Yeah, isn't there one of those fairy tales about a cow being traded? Is that Jack and the Beanstalk? I don't know that.
Yes.
Is that about a cow? I can't remember.
There's a cow in it. Yeah.
Wasn't Ewan McGregor in a Jack and a Beanstalk or something?
Dunno.
He was in something with, I think, Nicholas Hoult, where they fought something. Man, maybe I was just out of it. I don't know.
That sounded like a fever dream, to be honest.
All right, Ewan McGregor, Jack, and... Oh, wow, he was.
I was going to say, there was a Jack and the Beanstalk movie.
Yeah, Jack the Giant Slayer. What? Damn.
Oh, wait, what was it? Was it that whether they were trying to make some action adventure movies out of fairy tales and stuff?
So check this out. It had a production budget of $220 million and made $197 worldwide. Oh,
Bang, make bang.
yeah, well, that bombed. But hey, welcome to the podcast, everybody. Yes, I saw one comment last week's show. Someone was like, "Talk about something interesting," and I'm like, So
let's make something up then.
So I figured we'd open up the podcast by informing you about Jack the Giant Slayer, or whatever the hell we were just talking about. There you go.
An 8-year-old movie.
That's all the interest you get. Don't worry, it'll get
John
probably.
Carter.
Oh, I love John Carter though. I love that movie. Anyways, I am, as always, your host, Armin. I'm here for this show, and it's going to be an interesting one, I'll tell you. And this week, as always, I am joined by Mitch.
What's up? You can find me at Mitch692.
Also, Tristan.
Hey guys, you can catch me at HG Chance.
If he sounds like he's dying, he's been playing Avengers all night.
Oh, for the past 2 nights, actually.
Oh, boy.
Since he saw. He's become Thor.
And this week, we are joined by a special guest. This, who I'm introducing right now, is Nick. He was previously on the Hybrid Network. You guys might know who they are. And I'll let him introduce himself, tell you a little bit about himself, and where you can find him.
Hey guys, it's Nick, and I guess I used to work for Hybrid Network, HN Entertainment, whatever they're going by, and kind of started my own channel, talk about movies, shows, gaming, basically anything, because it's like my own thing, so it's kind of nice to have that freedom. But you can find me anywhere on YouTube or social media at who's_Nick.
And just for those people that might be wondering, in the description down below, right below the timestamps, I will have a link straight to his YouTube channel, so you guys can just click that and access it instantly. So make sure you go give him a follow and check out what he's doing, talking about. He's pretty much a big fan of everything we talk about on here as well. So if you like the content, there you go. It's more of it. Different opinions. They're always good to have. But, as good as they are to have, we only know that one is right. And that's ours. We got a good show for you guys. So let's just get right into the first. With 7 weeks to go now, we finally got the release date to The Mandalorian Season 2. Coming right at the end of October, right before Halloween on October 30th. A show many people, I think everybody on here is excited to see this. Obviously, it's... I would argue the best thing Star Wars Disney has been done in live action. I think that's a pretty easy agreement there. Now I'm of course hyped. Now I want to get your guys' input on this. Mitch, how you feeling about this, and what are your thoughts on the short announcement to release window that they're doing for this?
I mean, I'm excited for it. The release date is kind of, I think, what everyone expects. Not like the exact date, but like October was, I think, what everyone was kind of expecting anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really a shock, and it's it's virtually slap bang in the middle of what was supposed to be the 2 Marvel drops. So you had that Marvel, Star Wars, Marvel pattern going on. Obviously, we're not getting that now, but their first big drop of the year.
Wow, it is. Huh.
Is there? There's not going to be any Marvel this year, right? Or
I think WandaVision's still on track for December, but I think it can go either way at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Really, depends how quickly they finish doing the reshoots. Well, not reshoots, but the extra stuff.
That is true. And again, like Mandalorian is in an interesting position because, you know, they finished it right before everything happened. And now season 3, more than likely going into production as the new one starts airing, which is a pretty good indicator. Now, Nick, what's your gauge on season 2 and what do you hope to get out of it?
Personally, I just want to see more of the Mandalorian culture and stuff explored. I know there's like rumors about Boba Fett and the Darksaber and stuff. Well, we saw the Darksaber, but like I know there's other characters rumored. Bo-Katan, I think, from the Clone Wars. So like I just want to see more of that kind of stuff get explored. But I'm a little bit hesitant just because of all the characters that are supposed to appear in this season. I just hope it doesn't get too overcrowded, but I'm sure it'll be good still.
Yeah, I'm there with you. Like, I want more of the Mandalorian lore to be explored and what they are in their culture. And it's like, everything we hear about, I'm like, so you're telling me half the season is going to be Mandalorian and the other half is going to be Clone Wars reunion? Like, that's what it feels like? Yeah, it's...
At least with that, you know, the Clone Wars dealt a lot with the Mandalorian stuff, so it's probably the easiest like crossover to do with everything. So hopefully they adjust.
Right, hopefully they nailed this one. Tristan, what are your feelings on Mando season 2 and the future of, let's say, the entire series, possible spin-offs that they discussed, all that?
Well, it's just like Nick, I just don't want it to be boggled down by so many characters being introduced and have just focus on just some primary stuff that they could have, especially going into the Mandalorian culture, because it is interesting. I just hope that it's what fans want and not what fans think they want.
Fans don't know what they want.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, so we want this, and this from from all the old stuff they used to have. But I just hope they don't go and talk about the Fets for too long, because I don't care about them anymore.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with the Fets. Isn't it rumored that it's not actually Boba Fett, it's a guy walking around in his armor?
Right.
Isn't that where they left him off in the comics or something? Like, I haven't read them, so I haven't got a fog yet.
I think so, if I remember, like, because it's. So I remember I did have it. Just, I think what the rumors was is that it is gonna be like that, where it's not actually gonna be Boba Fett. It's just the guy in the Mandalorian suit, unless
Sheriff on Tatooine or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It wouldn't even shock. Yeah. It wouldn't really shock me if they introduced Boba Fett, but they're like, wait. Oh, it's like, oh no, I just took another piece of armor and made my own that looks like him because I want that name so I can try to do my own thing. Like, and I think that can make for a more interesting version of the character. If it's like, oh, he's just not even the real one. Like, this guy's a complete imposter. What's his advantages? Like, you know, it's because it is, again, like, I don't know. I don't want him to overshadow Mando, right? Like, that's the thing. It's like, please don't. Like, just do this right.
I know fans want him to, but
no,
because apparently he's the best one ever.
I mean, if you could merge Boba Fett and Revan, I think the universe would implode upon itself from awesomeness.
No,
we need Revan in live action. When's that Old Republic movie?
You mean High Republic now? Ain't getting old.
You'll get young Yoda too.
Dude, I am hyped for that.
I want Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Don't you worry, because come season 2, every single store shelf is going to be stocked with Baby Yoda. It is ridiculous how much merch they got coming for that series. Oh my god.
What if they pull a Groot and it's now like Teen Yoda? And he's all edgy. Got a little mohawk.
Well, they're going
to...
No. You're missing the point. They're going to save that for when Ruin Johnson does an episode so he can ruin Baby Yoda. It's just because... And then we're going to blame everything on him. Like, that's... It's the Star Wars cycle, okay? Like, come on. You got to get with it here. So, hopefully, the next season turns out, right? As of this recording right now, we don't have a trailer yet. It's got to
That's
drop
because
in.
they're worried about the show because there's massive reshoots and massive problems going on.
I knew it.
Dude, that is such unfortunate timing for Scoot.
It's fantastic time. Fantastic time.
So it's got to drop like in the next couple weeks, right?
Yeah, I reckon that about middle of the month we'll get it.
I won't be surprised if they don't even announce anything. They just stealth to drop it one morning at like 9 a.m. It's like, oh god, and just kind of blows up. Like it would make sense.
That'd be 2 p.m. my time, so I haven't got to wake up for it.
9 a.m.
I'm operating on Eastern U.S. time here, the only time that matters. You know, New York, so center of the world or something. I don't know.
No, that's universal time, which is me.
Oh, well then. Well, since you're universal time, give up the Hulk rights, you bastard.
Sure.
You guys think in season 2 they're gonna resolve the whole Baby Yoda thing, or is that gonna continue into 3?
I can see them stretching that out the entire show.
Oh, that gonna get milked. Oh, unfortunately.
They'll do like the actual steps in real time for a child. So like season 2 will say his first word, and then season 3 he might start walking. So like give it 18 years and you might get a job.
Man.
No, isn't it like double? Because he's like 50.
All right.
Oh yeah. All right. So 50 times 18. Okay.
Great to know. My great-great-grandchildren will find out how Luke Skywalker discovers the child. That is amazing stuff right there. Riveting Star Wars
The
tales.
fact that you think we're going to survive that long is quite optimistic.
Oh. Okay, well, ancient civilizations, when they dig up the ruins, they'll be like, oh, that's what happened. That's, ancient...
Mando.
Yeah, like the Planet of the Apes scenario.
Wow.
So yeah, Mando, Season 2. When it comes out, we'll talk about it on here, obvious. Well, The Eternals is still coming at us early next year. We, as of now, still have not even a teaser poster officially revealed, so that's kind of cool. Definitely gets you hyped. That's depressing.
Dude, Marvel's dead, dude. They ended Avengers Endgame. That's it.
Joker killed Marvel.
You can't go higher than that.
Hasn't been a movie since Joker, so far.
Sonic was the final blow to the MCU this year.
No, but Bloodshot was the start of a whole new universe.
I kind of liked Bloodshot, like not in it's a good way.
Stop lying to yourself.
But yeah, Eternals. Interesting quotes coming out and interesting details. And one I've seen a lot of people argue against, and I'm like, are you guys not even aware of what they're saying? Like, read the actual thing. It's like, oh, it's going to be bigger than Avengers Endgame. And people are like, well, no, it's not. It's like, it actually is. Like, it is physically more things are going to be happening in that movie than in Endgame. So, like, the moment you see an Eternal fighting Celestials, you're like, well, yeah, that's a new scale of epic that we've never seen before. So in that way, I get what they're saying, but people are sort of twisting the word in the other way. That's like, oh, they're saying they're going to be, like more money and stuff. It's like, no. They're not saying that. Definitely not that, because Eternals is not making $2.9 billion or whatever.
You wait, I bet it does. I will make it so it does.
You're going to buy all the tickets? So
I'll have to make 1,000 Disney Plus accounts just to make it happen. But
so with Eternals, action figures should be hitting store shelves by mid-October to November, which will be interesting, which means we got stuff coming soon, which I think bodes well for them talking about it. It's like, okay, they're starting to get on that PR, to slowly start to make people aware of it. What's your feelings on it, Mitch? When do you think we're getting it, and how do you think they're going to present this movie to the, I guess, world and everybody else?
I mean, I'm convinced it's doing what Mulan's going to do. Convinced. At this point, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
It makes, like, you've got the Corona still running about everywhere, so, hey, just play it safe. And, if it comes to it, if cinemas and theatres are open across the planet, do what Bill and Ted done, do day and date.
Yeah.
Not just do it straight on Disney Plus, because Mulan's not going to tank on it. There's no chance. No chance now. But the interesting bit from the interview that they done for me was her talking about like her manga roots and how she's going to blend that East and West like ideology together for it. Which, for something where they're not just default white guy and white girls, they are literally whatever you could think of and like everything. It's like, yeah, it's probably an idea to take influences from different cultures and put them together. Also, comics and manga aren't too separate anyway, so maybe Eternals can lead to manga films. I don't know. That's just a hope. But
she kept saying like One Punch Man and stuff.
I mean, it's not too far off. No. They are essentially, they can one punch literally everything. Celestial.
Again, the amount of people on this planet that know about the Eternals lore is probably, to put it nicely, Mitch and 3 more people. Like,
it's like when Guardians was coming out.
Yeah.
But worse, because I'm the only one.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like Guardians at least had a few runs and was still a thing that was happening, but like, Eternals is such a weird thing to exist and nobody even knows about it yet. Like, it's, I don't know, I'm really hyped for it. Like, it's got a solid cast. I like what they're saying about it. You know, hearing some of the details about what we're going to see in it and some of the rumors, it's like, no, this all sounds pretty epic in terms of size, scope, and scale, and representing the MCU as something bigger and more grandiose than just, hey, look at these 15 years that these heroes, Avengers, existed in. It's like, oh no, this is going to be like, you know, spanning thousands of years. So again, they're adding a good amount of like, world building, which is, I think, what excites me the most is that. It's like, oh, I want to see, you know, like ancient Babylon or whatever they're going to do and how they represent it. So, a lot of...
We're getting Babylon.
Oh, you need the Savage Land.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's in there. There's got to be some kind of hint towards something like that.
Yeah. Make Khazar a Eternal. Yay.
No, you guys don't understand, though. They're only making this because DC's New Gods. That's a response.
Is it still happening, though?
Response to what?
Wait, wasn't New Gods announced first, but Eternals is like done already and stuff?
I was gonna say, but where is New Gods? Like, they're still writing it, apparently. No, the New Gods announcement of Fandom was the best part about that thing. So.
Oh.
Dude, that fandom was such a bait and switch. What the hell? They said there was gonna be two secret movies, and then there was nothing.
Didn't they announce Static? Isn't that one of them?
I mean,
or them saying Static's in development, and that's it.
It was a weird announcement because it wasn't even made as an announcement. You had to like dig through the transcript to be like, "Oh, look, they said they're making a Static movie." What? Like, what a weird way.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, and that's kind of a thing. Like, the New Gods are a cool concept. The Eternals are a cool concept. That sort of, you know, you can compare and contrast them, and I'm hopeful that, you know, this whole idea, because they're going to tie to that whole ancient aliens thing, is really represented well and does good, because I would love for this to become a trilogy of sorts, or maybe even beyond a trilogy.
I mean, there's no way they just make it a one and done. If Ant-Man can get 3 movies, then
freaking Ant-Man is getting 3 movies. Superman can't even get a sequel. Come on.
That's so disappointing. It's so sad.
It's fine. You've got like 5 different King Sharks, so eat well.
Yeah. King Sharks.
The one thing that the Eternals though is kind of like that I was let down by is the suit design. Like, it's not very Kirby-esque, you know. It's very like
but at the same time. They usually change it from that first concept art reveal. I'm expecting it to not look the same as that.
That is kind of true, because remember the first concept art we got of Guardians? If we would have got that, nobody would have liked Groot, because he looked horrific. Like, he looked like something out of a horror movie.
He looked like Groot. I was fine with it.
Well, you might have been, but... everything looked slightly off compared to what we got. So I think all of us here are excited for this film to see what's going to happen. Obviously, as soon as the trailer and everything drops, we'll talk more about it, and you know, we'll give you our then take on it, because I'm assuming it's going to be visually just stunning. But
it's going to be the best movies.
Okay. Well, thanks, time traveler Mitch. That's cool.
I mean, I'm just getting in front of what the trades are going to say. So.
Well, you think it's going to be great, but you ain't seen the power of Morbius that's going to destroy it, so...
Actually,
Morbius.
dude, the MCU movies, honestly, like, I always, like, forget that, like, they're coming out still, like, Black Widow and all this, like, it seems like, I don't know.
I mean, in fairness, with this year, nothing's come out, so...
Yeah.
Like, they should just dump it on, like, Disney Plus, though, or...
Well, let's hope Mulan does well, because that's the future. That's the future. John Boyega has been making the rounds in the news talking about Disney, specifically his time with Star Wars. And a lot of what he says, people look at that and go, well, yeah, Finn was kind of useless when it came to that, the two films that he was really, kind of backboned on.
It was
which
kind of useless in all three, really.
Yeah. And, so Boyega came out and was like, hey, guys, let's talk about the problem with Disney and Star Wars there specifically. And he was talking about, look at my character and look at this and how his character had nothing to do for multiple films and how, for example, he wanted to wear something to, the premiere. And the hairdresser there was like, yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Just dress like this because it's normal. And, he was outspoken against all that. And, obviously, every studio in Hollywood has had this problem up until a couple of years ago where everybody started to sort of, change it up. And it's unfortunate this is sort of what happened because if you guys remember, when he joined The Force Awakens and the rumor started, he's going to be a Jedi, and then the trailer and stuff, people were outraged. First, that's like, a black Jedi. Then they're angry, and then people start to actually really like his character, but that was all misdirection with all the art and stuff, because Rey ended up being, the Jedi they picked. So there was, this whole bait and switch, and a lot of people are blaming Rian Johnson as well, which, I mean, he gets blamed for everything Star Wars now.
Just blame him for everything. He ruined
everything. I mean... Let's go around. Tristan, how do you feel about all of this that's happening in the news with John Boyega? What's your take on it?
One thing, because I've been looking and saying that people were putting some of the blame on China, actually.
Yeah, some of it.
Yeah, because of because of blatant racism that they have over there. For people who don't know, for some reason they don't take too kindly to having people of color being in the limelight. And from what has been said and shown, John Boyega has been either if he's in the front of a poster or something, they would Photoshop him off to the side as not being one of the main characters, or they'd Photoshop him entirely out of any promotional material over there.
Which is really ironic because the way they treated him in the movies, the Chinese post was probably more reflective of what his role actually was.
Yeah. And then also going to was it Black Panther? It didn't do too well over there at all, and most of the sentiment was they don't understand why there's so many non-Caucasian people doing in this movie.
Well, also if you look at most of the posters for Black Panther over there, his face was covered entirely, and he was in the suit. There was barely ever anything featuring the people on it. It's
and from what I've seen, it's probably not all on Disney. It's probably on some of the higher ups that were executing the decisions for it. Because what John was getting really mad about is that he thought he was going to be, a co-protagonist at least. To have his own story, and he did not like it where he was the token colored person that got more people into the seats, and then to get his role relegated to was it saving the animals instead of actually doing something.
I'm saying it wasn't just him either. It was Finn, Poe, and Rose. All three of those characters were relegated.
Yep.
If you look at Finn and Poe in The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, they're not the same as in Force Awakens. They're more like the goofy, slapsticky
Yeah.
duo. It's just like, oh.
And then like from one of his comments where it's like everyone in the crew knew it, but no one wanted to say anything.
Yeah, it's just always the way. It's always there.
Yeah.
It's always how it goes.
But, you know, you look at that whole situation, you're like, well, at least they're trying to change, and it's actively been shown that they are changing slowly, but it's like, it's unfortunate that it had to happen like this, and that's sort of the story we're seeing everywhere. It's like, oh, after years and years of this, somebody finally speaks up, and then they're finally like, okay, we're going to change now. It's like, so nobody took notice of this being a problem initially? Like, I don't know, I just find it weird. Like,
it's all the NDAs, though, isn't it? They've got to sign mountains of paperwork.
Oh, yeah. Oof. God. Yeah.
I mean, it's shady and scummy as it is, but it's what happens.
Mm-hmm. And again, we don't know what exactly was happening there, you know, with everything. We'll probably never truly know who's responsible for those calls and who's pushing for what. And, you know,
they ruined everything, dude. Disney.
Yeah.
Reboot everything.
Well, I mean, it is kind of like how it is, though, you know? And, like, I don't love everything Disney's done with Star Wars. I have so many issues with the new trilogy that happened. And, like, Poe specifically is one of the biggest issues I have because I really like Oscar Isaac and that character. And then Finn was right there at, like, Force Awakens. I was like, I love this character. And the third movie, he literally just runs around screaming Rey's name for 2 hours. It's like, oh, well, that was garbage. Like, it's...
Yeah.
And you hope they can make right with some of these actors, but you just don't know.
I was going to say, they can... It depends entirely on the actors, because they could have an idea all they want, but if they say, no, we're done with that, which, in fairness to them, I don't blame them. Like, at least with Kelly Marie Tran, they're trying to do something because she's starring Raya the Last Dragon.
Yep.
It seems like the main three don't want to come back, though, anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean,
after the reception they got, I wouldn't, to be honest.
We're just gonna get Solo 2 instead.
Oh. Like, I'm honestly shocked anybody wants to do any Star Wars live action project. Like, if I was an actor and they were like, would you want to be in Star Wars, a new Star Wars movie? I'd be like,
yes, but no.
Can you make me a droid so I can hide my face or something? Like, I don't want to actually be, you know, like, because it's just gonna...
Pegg was lucky.
He was.
In it, but
yeah, because it's really odd, because, like, I was... for one reason or another, Daisy really hasn't gotten like any more big roles. Like one of the more notable ones.
She has got a role now. She's in, I think, The Women in the Castle or something like that.
Yeah,
that's
she's doing like voiceover work.
Yeah, because before her biggest role was being in a video game. I think it's 12 seconds is what it is. They actually got her to do.
She's following that Mark Hamill role. Voice acting's going to now dominate her life, and she'll become rich and do minimum work. I mean, it's
give it 40 years, she's back in Star Wars.
She got Hamilled.
Oh,
oh, God, good times. So, when there's more to talk about in regards to Star Wars, good or bad, we'll always be back with it. But hopefully they work all this garbage out in Hollywood, and you know, people don't get mistreated, because that's god awful. That is just not worth it. And plus,
just make an Old Republic trilogy of films.
Yeah, and do whatever you want.
Sure. Young Buff Yoda.
Oh, make Solo 2.
Yoda's games I must.
So, the biggest piece of news I think that come out, and it was like just something that I didn't believe when it hit. You know how people always do those stupid articles that they fake them, and like you see people post it online. You're just like, oh, I hate it when people do this. Like,
I thought it was a hoax for a minute.
Yep.
People do the RIP stuff on Twitter a lot, so I was like, well, what is it now? And I was like, oh, wait.
Right, to me, like, I'm sitting there and I'm on Facebook and I just boot up my thing and I see it, I'm like, all right, whatever, no, like, this is a joke, clearly, so I put it down. And then my phone, and I only have, like, certain text messages from certain people enabled to notify me. And then I realized when within 3 minutes, it went off, like, a dozen times. I'm like, what the hell happened? So I pick it up and I'm like, oh no. And like, that's when it hit me. And like, I went online and I saw everybody talking about it. And obviously the tragic passing of Chadwick is something that's, I couldn't even really react to it because like, it just hit me hard because I think like many people, he just, everything he did, like what he was doing, not just as Black Panther, but I mean as a human being, and knowing that he was doing all these things with, cancer, and nobody knew, and he was fighting through it, like, it's just so devastating. He was so young as well, like, my God, like...
I'd say 43 is way too young. Way too young for something like that. It's unfortunately the age you start getting, like, colon, you've got to start screening for colon cancer. But it's still way too young. We should have had this guy for decades.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll say this: like I went to watch Black Panther again, and it was hard. Like it was just, it was a little too early. Like I was still like, nope, I can't do this right now. So like,
I had that thought of watching something. I was like, I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I can barely keep myself together looking at Don Cheadle making a video about it. I can't watch a whole movie with Boseman in it. Like.
Yeah.
Like, what made me sad is that I would say is like what Castles were saying is that, or what they didn't understand is that, from what I saw, they wanted to retire T'Challa, and what I'm saying by retire T'Challa, they want to retire the character entirely, and I'm like, no, that isn't the way to go.
I say, well, this is the thing, isn't it? 'Cause it's like he was a guy who only did stuff that not necessarily leave a legacy for him, but a legacy for the industry and people of color in that community, the industry.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Black Panther's obviously part of that. He wouldn't have done it otherwise.
Yeah.
So I think. I don't really want to talk about like what people are saying there. Recast him. It's like no, the guy's not even had his funeral.
Yeah,
yet.
that's
way too soon.
that
Stuff like that.
That I would want to wait. Is just they want to like retire the character is what kind of got me.
Yeah, as I was about to say, no, the legacy of that character is it's a tricky one because some people are saying don't do another movie. Some people are saying you're saying just retire the character outright. You can't taking the character away outright is going against what he would want.
Yeah, it's the way I see it is kind of like people need to like understand is like for what some of the other people have said is that there'll always be another T'Challa, but there'll never be another Boseman.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. It's the Heath Ledger thing, like people are like, well, you should retire, like Black Panther. It's like, well, should they have retired Joker? Like, because it was his final role. It's like, look, there's obviously the legacy that he's going to leave behind as Black Panther, as not only the Black Panther, but the fact that he proved you can have a black superhero starring in a primarily black cast, almost everybody, directed by a black person, and you can embrace that heritage and tackle it head on and put it in a comic book movie, and it will make over $1 billion. It showed Hollywood that look, you can do this. You don't need to have primarily white people everywhere, and we can do it without China's box office as well, which, I mean, that within itself was shocking as well, because China is such a huge take of box office these days. So it's the legacy he set out there, and it's one of these things where, you look at pictures online, and you see little children, primarily of color, they're posting pictures. But what I loved was seeing some of my friends who have children. Like, one of them is 7 years old, little white kid. He's got, like, the blondest hair. You'd think he's bald. It's so, blonde, right? And he was doing the Wakanda Forever with his Black Panther toy. And, like, it's another thing where nobody was like, well, this or that. It's like, no, he loved that character. It's one of his favorites. Like, and he didn't see that whole color thing. He's just like, no, he loved Black Panther. He had the costume for Halloween. Like, it's truly a role that I think not a lot of people expect it to be as big and as groundbreaking and defining and changing Hollywood, really, for what Chadwick did for that role.
Yeah, because if you want to go about the Black Panther legacy, he went from, I think it was early 2000s, getting a motion comic.
Yeah.
A motion comic from BET to now where he is mainstream, that everyone now knows, whether they're a hardcore fan or just a casual fan, they know the name Black Panther.
Yep.
But it's like, to what Armin was saying about the kids, it's broken that barrier down. Like, a lot of people, before you had that stigma, it was like, oh no, you play with the white toys, you had the black toys running for the little black kids and all that. Like, now it doesn't, like, it never should have mattered before. Yeah. But now it doesn't. Like, that's gone.
That's part of the reason why, like, Spider-Man and a lot of masked characters are extremely popular compared to some of the unmasked characters, because of that barrier where, ooh, yeah, I want to play Spider-Man, you can't play. I want to play Superman, you can't play Superman because you're not Caucasian.
Right.
Yeah, then they gravitate towards Spider-Man because he wears a mask, so you don't know who's under there.
Dang.
Yeah, I mean, Nick, what's your feelings on this whole Chadwick Black Panther, what he's done?
Yeah, it was pretty like just out of the blue when like the news hit. Like, obviously none of us expected it because we didn't know what he was going through, but it's just a tremendous loss, I guess, for not just the MCU, just anyone really, the community as a whole. I mean, it's like, yeah, like he was gonna be like a big part of Marvel stuff going forward too, just beyond Black Panther, right? I mean,
yeah.
So it's yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. And there was a report too that came out yesterday, right? That like nobody at Marvel and Disney knew either, right?
No. Which is the thing. I think like it's something that people say, oh, you shouldn't think about it, but the second the news drops, you automatically think about it. It's like, did they know? And then Ryan Coogler came out with his statement, which is, what he said was fantastic. But the whole, he didn't know. They were close, and Michael B. Jordan were close to him. Neither of them knew.
I mean, that report also.
Private he was.
Right, and that's the thing. Like the Hollywood Reporter, they break it down. They're like, oh, Kevin Feige only found out an hour before it was made public, and he actually didn't even see the text message till it hit the internet. So, like, not even Feige knew.
At the same time.
Right, like you hear the story, as Nick was saying, it's like this was going to be his future, and you hear how much he was fighting for it, where a week ago, he was literally like, all right, we're shooting Black Panther, end of the year. Like,
yeah, let me put this weight back on. No.
Oh, my God, like...
I think I haven't seen all the ABC tribute they did for him. I've seen like 17 minutes or whatever they got on YouTube of it, and they say like he's going to leave an absence, and it's like, yeah, that's probably the best word for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is an absence. Thanks, God.
It's I don't know. Like I'm still like sad about it when I think about it. Like, just such a tremendous talent that just. Almost like did the impossible for Hollywood and movies, and that's he leaves a legacy that is honestly just tremendous with everything he's done, and and it is going to be hard with we don't want to get into everything. Oh, what happens with the future of Black Panther now? We'll talk about that at a later date. But
I was going to say let the family have their time to themselves, and let them have the funeral for him before you start talking about that. Like, have some. The guy was human after all. Give him the time, have some decorum.
And, that's the thing. It's like, it'll be, whatever they do, we need to wait to see what the decision is before we can really, get to that step next. But
yeah, it still kind of hits you is where you get all those jokes to where Boseman, people are making fun of it, saying like he didn't want to do the Wakandan salute forever.
Yeah, that's such an unfortunate thing.
Yeah, and then once after all this comes out, then you realize, oh, he was probably running on fumes at that point, and just trying to not let anybody know what's wrong with him.
No, because it was
Right.
only a few months ago you had another load of those, because that's when everyone first saw him really skinny.
Oh yeah,
And you
'cause-
just had those wave of memes about it. It's like I'm really on the fence about stuff like that, because it's, you know, people don't know.
yeah.
And if he was that private, it's really hard. Like, the internet takes the piss out of everything. You can't
Yeah.
stop it. It's something you got to live with.
Yeah,
It's,
that type of stuff. I was like, it's not malicious. It's just they're just poking fun at stuff that they see. And
You know, I'll bring it around to like Christian Bale, right? When he did that massive weight loss for his role, I think I can't remember what the movie was.
Was it The Machinist?
Yes.
No.
Like, something like that, but like, he did not, like, he transformed himself to look that way. And for all we know, and there was speculation, people are like, oh, Chadwick's getting ready to do another role, so he's dropping all this pounds and stuff, you know, and he's gonna put it back on. And, you know, that was a legit thing that people were saying as well. So it's like, you know, nobody, I don't think, made any of those memes with the
No.
You know, nobody
I say,
was
because how can you? Because no one outside of like immediate family really knew.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there might have been one or two other people, but no one else knew, so you couldn't really have it maliciously.
Yeah.
So it's like the people shaming everyone for making them and laughing at them. I'm just like, no one knew. They're gonna feel bad enough as it is. I don't think that's what Chadwick would have wanted you to do at this point. Like, don't start. It's like the whole Olsen situation. Like, just because she didn't mention anything, people went straight for her, and she's like gone off Instagram now. It's like, don't do stuff like that. I know everyone's hurting because of it, but like, don't take it out on other people. Like, people would all deal with stuff in their own way, in their own time.
Right. That's exactly.
Just an unfortunate situation that they had all those memes, but
exactly. But that's the world we're in today. You know, it is the world. So with that in mind, everybody in the comments, please let us know, you know, your thoughts on this. You know, what's your favorite like Black Panther moment involving him? Like,
or even Chadwick Boseman movie,
or even his favorite role or anything. Let us know in the comments below. Spread some of that positivity, you know, to people, you know, and you know, just I guess, you know, be kind to each other. I know this is the internet and that's hard to say, and people, but
and it's YouTube comments,
and that's like the ultimate, you know, like Mos Eisley version of the internet, but you can do it. So
just take a second to realize he filmed 6 to 7 movies in the last 4 years, knowing he had like stage 3 colon cancer.
Yep.
And he didn't slow down, and he was still planning to do more movies.
And
that movie, The Five Bloods, hits different now.
I haven't seen it. I meant to watch it when it dropped, and I just never got around to it. So when it's settled a bit more, and I'm gonna watch that.
yeah.
and like, what's also cool is that I don't know if people were playing Fortnite. Was it the Nexus?
They
battle?
have that Panther statue there, and all that.
Yeah, and
That's cool.
Epic Games stated that from data, players were using that as a memorial.
Yeah, because it wasn't actually intended for that. It was
Yeah,
already
they were gonna
people
have
are just
a
using it.
yeah, they were gonna have I guess they were gonna have an event that involves the Panther statue at a later date, but players went there for a memorial instead.
It just shows you that some people are good. There are
Yeah.
good people. No.
Don't let the loud negative people dictate the majority of the fandom. That's kind of how it goes, right? I don't let that happen. So we will definitely talk more about Black Panther when the time is right. But for now, let's just focus on celebrating everything Black Panther that they did, specifically with Chadwick at the helm. So yeah, sound off in the comments, everybody. Oh, well, with that has actually brought us to the end of the show, because we only got 4 topics this week for the main show, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. As always, like we opened up the show, make sure you guys go seek out everybody. Again, Nick, you can find him. His channel and stuff will be linked down below in the description, so make sure you go give him a follow. I believe you've done some stuff on Dune, right, recently?
Yeah, the Dune stuff is starting to finally like kick off, I guess, the marketing. So that I'm really interested in that movie. It's probably like the movie I'm most looking forward to, I guess, out of the rest of the year.
I know nothing about Dune apart from it's not similar to Star Wars, but Star Wars is similar to it. So
Right.
I mean, if there's something science fiction, chances are, in some way, shape, or form, it was ripped off from Dune and like Isaac Asimov's few seminal books. So
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So I'm here for the cast for Dune. That cast is stacked. So
yeah, my God, I'm here for the spice. That's it. All the spice.
It's got a sound. That's all I know.
It's got a sandworm. Okay, so you know the basics: sandworm and sand.
There's a lot of dunes and there's sand and there's people in it. That's my extent of Dune knowledge.
Perfect.